Okay, so the Ring Magazine have released their latest heavyweight rankings. Now, it sparked a bit of a debate, and I can see why. I can see why. Alexander Usyk obviously is the Ring Magazine champion, so he is ranked above everybody, as it is with the sanctioning bodies. You know, with the WBC, WBA, WBO, which Alexander Usyk has. He is the champion, and then you have the guys ranked below him. Same with the IBF, obviously, with Daniel Dubois being champion, the guys ranked below him. With the sanctioned body rankings, a lot of the times you look at them and you really do have to scratch your head. That, like, you know, I think the WBA had Mike Perez ranked at heavyweight. And I don't even think his last fight was even a heavyweight. And I think he's not had a noticeable win in a long ass time. So, you know, you look at the sanctioned bodies, you look at their rankings, and you're like, why is, you know, you just, when Daniel Dubois fought Bogdan Dinu, that put him in contention to fight Trevor Bryan for the WBA, the regular title. He was like number 2, and I'm talking about Bogdan Dinu now, was like number 2 in the rankings, having had like 2 fights against literally no hopers. So rankings, when it comes to the sanctioning bodies, they can be a little bit all over the place, you know. And of course they'll have people like Joseph Parker, who would not be ranked by the IBF because they're an interim champion. There's a lot of things. So you look at the rankings of sanctioning bodies and you're kind of like, what the hell? With the Ring Magazine, they don't have mandatories or anything like that, and theirs is, you know, obviously the Ring Magazine, so they can be a little bit more of how you want it, so to speak. So Alexander Usyk is the Ring Magazine champion, so he is not ranked. He is head and shoulders above everyone because he's the champion, obviously. Let's just talk about the rankings, and let me tell you when we get to it where I think the problem lies. So, number 10, F.A. Ajagba. Now, Ajagba was set to take on Bakoli in May. He may still take on Bakoli in May, but if he takes on Bakoli in May, it won't be for an IBF eliminator. So, there it is, the problem. And with Bakoli, if he fights in May, it's not going to be for an eliminator. Now, I think he would beat F.A. Ajagba personally. Ajagba has a win over Zan Kosabutsky. Has he fought since then? I'm pretty sure he has. Oh, yeah, no, he did. Didn't he fight that? I'm forgetting now who F.A. Ajagba fought, but I think he has fought after Kosabutsky. He won that fight by DQ. But yeah, he's been doing what he needs to do. 10th for Ajagba. I would say Filip Hrgovic is 8th. I was going to say if he's not there, yeah, maybe you could just put Ajagba in there. Fabio Wadley in there at number 9. Can't argue with that. Fabio Wadley's a very, very good fighter, very much improved fighter. I like what I'm seeing with him a lot. I really like what I'm seeing with Fabio Wadley. So, yeah, Fabio Wadley in the top 10 of the Ring Magazine rankings. No problems there. Filip Hrgovic at number 8. Well, I was going to say inactivity, but he's not even been out of the ring a year yet. So we'll allow him that one. We'll allow him that bit of space. Fair enough. And I think he has posted on Instagram saying that he will be coming back. So, all right, Filip Hrgovic will allow him that. Number 8. Martin Bakoli in there, number 7. I don't remember what he was prior, and I'm assuming this is after the last Crescendo card. But yeah, I mean, Martin Bakoli prior to Joe Parker, you would have him probably top 5. Probably, maybe. But yeah, number 7, no arguments there. Likewise, Zhilei Zhang coming at the back of a loss. Yeah, no arguments there. Anthony Joshua in at number 5. Can't remember the last time he was down that low, to be honest with you. Again, I can't argue with it. He's coming down the back of a loss. Prior to that, he beat Francis Ngannou. That's not going to get you in the Ring Magazine. Like, that was not going to boost up the rankings in any organisation. Otto Vallian, Hellenius, and then he beat Jermaine Franklin. So can't argue with that. Ajit Kabayel, one of 3 informed fighters in the world, in the top 5, in there at number 4. No arguments there whatsoever. Richly deserved. Should be higher. Joe Parker in at number 3. Again, can't argue with it. Cannot argue with it. The only thing he's lacking is a real world title. He's only got an interim belt. That's not a world title. So again, great run of form. No arguments there. Daniel Dubois, number 2. Strange, you may ask. Daniel Dubois, number 2. Well, he's IBF champion, and likewise, I know a lot of people have a bit of a bitter taste in their mouths over him not fighting Joseph Parker due to illness, and maybe he won't fight. We don't know what's going to happen next, but he's in there, number 2, IBF champion. You're kind of like, how is Daniel Dubois number 2? I mean, who has to be ahead of him? Tyson Fury in there at number 1. I'd just like to point out Tyson Fury, the man who retired back in January, is the number one ranked heavyweight in the world outside of Alexander Usyk by Ring Magazine. I'd also just like to point out that he hasn't won a fight of any significance in 3 years. And that's being a bit generous, because some people would argue that the Dillian Whyte fight, Dillian Whyte, although he beaten Povetkin the year prior, he'd been out of the ring for roughly a year, maybe a little bit over. And prior to that, he was chinned in 5 rounds by Povetkin. So that's the last meaningful win, because I am not going to turn around and say Derek Chisora in a trilogy fight was a meaningful win. It served no purpose. Nor too did Francis Ngannou, where he went life and debt with. And his last 2 performances, he's lost them both. And I thought he was retired. Why is he number 1? That just makes no sense whatsoever. It just makes no sense whatsoever. And even if he was still active, right, which I think he probably will be, but let's just hypothetically say he's still active with all the sanctioning bodies, he never announced his retirement, this, that, and the other, then the question is, should he really be number 1? And I would say no, because you lost both your fights to Alexander Usyk. Yes, they were high-profile fights, they were for undisputed, they were against the best heavyweight in the world, fair enough. You still lost. Occasionally with sanctioning bodies, when a champion loses, they might go straight back in at number 1. Once they lose again, they go down, because you've lost back-to-back fights. So I don't know how he's retaining that number 1 ranking. I really don't. My kind of rationale, my thinking towards it could be that Turkey really, really, really wants the AJ fight. Really wants the AJ fight, and maybe is hoping to stay in Tyson's good books by saying, because obviously he's Ring Magazine, it's owned by the Saudis, and maybe he's kind of like, what? We'll have Tyson number 1, you're still the number 1 outside of Usyk. You see that there? That's my only assumption here, because I don't see how you could have him. Right, I would have him behind Dubois, Parker, and Caballel, based on recent form. I'd have him ahead of Joshua, but I'd have him behind Parker, Dubois, and Caballel. I would have him ranked. Where would I have him ranked? I'd have him ranked 4th in the world. And I think that's very fair, having him ranked 4th in the world. And at the end of the day, I thought he was retired. So those are my thoughts on this situation. Yeah, I don't agree with I agree with it, most of it. I can't really fault them on most of the rankings, but having Fury as number 1, disagree strongly with that one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Be interested to know what you guys think. Leave it in the comments. Hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, people, peace.